Welcome to this presentation on Sutori. Thank you for watching. You're going to first learn how Sutori came about as an idea, how it became an EdTech learning tool, who we are as people, and the educational philosophy we embrace. Secondly, you'll see examples of how Sutori is used in classrooms of today. And finally, we'll take a look at the Sutori interface and how it works. Our story begins back in 2012. Sutori co-founder Thomas was living and working in Beijing, in China. And this was a common sight for him: pollution, smog, and face masks. And this, of course, was before the current pandemic. Pollution is a big problem over there, and he was working for an environmental NGO, and they wanted to raise awareness on environmental issues they were facing. So they looked back on history, and they saw that in 1952 in London there was a great smog, which resulted in the deaths of 10 to 12,000 people. The weather conditions during a week in December meant that there was little flow of air. So what they did was they created a Twitter account, and they started tweeting as if they were live living the event. They collected primary sources, videos, audios, images, anything they could find from the period, and they put that together into a narrative. The idea was to make the event come to life, to engage people in the content. Over the course of 5 days, there was 422 tweets, there was interest from major media outlets, and they kind of realized that there was something in that format. Came about the idea of history. So instead of having everything on Twitter, why not transfer it to our own platform, which we would build? This was some early concepts, mock-ups we came up with, and then we got some designers to actually do the design work. It looked a lot better. And this timeline format has stayed with us ever since. And we realized there was something in it. So we built the tool from scratch. We tested out the concept in numerous schools across Europe at the time, and we progressively opened up the platform. At first, it was only content we were creating, but then we put this creation tool in the hands of teachers and students. And there was a lot of positive feedback from the online teaching community, which spurred us further. And so in October 2014, we came out of our beta phase and we launched History, HSTRY. And ever since, yes, it's been a fun ride. We rebranded the name from History to Sutori in November 2016, because we realized that our formats didn't just speak to social studies teachers, didn't just speak to history teachers, but also maths teachers, English teachers, arts teachers. Today, we have reached 1.6 million users on the platform, and this is only going to continue growing. So what is Sutori? Sutori is a family endeavor. We are 3 friends, including 2 brothers, myself and Thomas in the middle, me on the left, and Yoran, who is on the right, who's an old school friend. We remain accessible at all times and at your service. Educator feedback really drives our development. We constantly solicit your ideas, and it really helps us improve. We also care about education. We've provided free access twice now during the pandemics, and in general have a very flexible and open approach to giving you free access for a while to try it out. We also promote media literacy, so we have free resources you can use because this is something that we find is lacking out there, including how to spot fake news, how to search the web, how to reduce your screen time, in particular for teens nowadays. And also we're privacy-centric. So we follow the COPPA, FERPA frameworks, and we also GDPR compliance. We don't sell your data to any third parties, and there are no ads, of course. We believe in project-based learning, a student-centered pedagogy which pushes pupils to acquire a deeper knowledge through exploration. We believe that teaching is more than testing. It's about connecting, it's about developing. And so all this in the framework of the 4 C's of communication, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. And of course, learning must always remain fun for the students, but also for the teachers. So there are many ways you could describe Sutori. We like the term of collaborative learning experience. So there are 3 essential ways you can use Sutori. The first is learning resources, the second is for template assignments, the third is for collaborative presentations. I'm just going to show you some examples right now. The first learning resource I want to show you here is a social studies presentation, also called a story, on the Aztecs, Incas, and Mayans. So as you can see, we've kind of kept this linear timeline format and enable you to add any kind of media to your story. The idea is you can add images, videos, audio files, any kind of edtech tool out there to make learning engaging, active, and interactive too. We also have formative quizzes that you can put onto your presentation. The idea is to just get students engaged in a different way in the content presented. So for example here, which one does not border the Maya region? Gulf of Mexico? Nope. Gulf of St. Lawrence. You can also embed other edtech tools out there. This is a Quizlet that you can embed, and so forth. The second example I want to show you of a learning resource is one by an arts teacher. So in the context of remote learning, she's actually using Sutori as the place to center all her classroom instructions. She's created a story here. At the top of it, she has the year-long resources that students can access at all times. And as you scroll down, she's separated it by weeks. Links to the classroom Zooms. She sets up warm-up forums. So here she takes advantage of one of Sutori's core features, which is the commenting. I'll show you a bit below how that works. Assignment and due dates, and some means to engage with our students in the context of remote learning. So each week she sets up what the students need to do. She has her classroom instructions on the left, and she also puts a warm-up forum. So she puts a work of art and asks the students to some questions on it and to interact on it. So for example here, is this considered art? This was an image that was banned by Facebook because it was deemed too shocking. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Using the commenting feature, students engage in the topic. The next learning resource I want to show is a PBL framework called Masters of Disaster. So the students are set into groups. They're each promoted as an engineer, and they have to build a bridge to withstand a natural disaster. So Sutori provides the canvas. The teacher can easily embed videos, images, and so they can then build their projects on Minecraft and present them to the classroom. Here the teacher has embedded also the rubrics at the bottom so that students have more of an idea how they're going to be graded on the subject. Next, I want to show you a template assignment. So this is a science project on DNA structure and function. And so the teacher here has been very explicit about what she or he wants. So as you can see, there are spaces for students to fill in, to complete. There is everything here is needed, including videos, so you can watch it, take notes. And also, the teacher asks us, the student, to create quizzes. You know, in an age where plagiarism is an issue online, asking your students to rework the content is a good way to avoid that. The second type of quiz, a matching quiz, which you have on Sutori, is displayed here, and it's another way to engage with the content. So any kind of story can be copied, as you can see here. This way, the student has their own version, which they can then complete and share with the teacher once done. This second one is another template assignment, but it's a lot more bare. So it's more of a skeleton for the students to guide the students in completing their work on this lab report here. Of course, you can give your students freedom. And this was a project created by a student who was reading a book called Looking for Alaska. And she took 10 themes, topics which emerge from the book, uploaded a song based on that topic, and then explained why she chose this song and how it matches to different moments in the book and the general theme of the book. So it's a very creative way of approaching a book report in a way. The final presentation I want to show you is a collaborative one. So here the English teacher sets up small groups, creates a story, and invites 6 other students to edit. So the idea is to create a space for them to work on their writing, but also to share it with others. When you begin writing, having that feedback loop very early on is a good idea. And so what he does is he creates writing prompts, engagement writing prompts, and gets them to share and work on their writing as they go along. And you have this peer review thanks to the commenting feature we have, and also the teacher who engages in a positive way with his students. So every couple of weeks he sets up a prompt for engagement. Here's a good example of one they're working on at the moment, asking the students to create their own 6-word composition. This was made famous by Ernest Hemingway. For example, here we have "for sale, baby shoes never worn." And so after, students have to create their own. So we have one here: equality for everyone, women and men. Dogs, love, devotion, who rescued who? Or without failure, progress is not possible. Okay, let's take a look at the Sutori interface and how it works. So this is your stories page. This is where everything you create is. You can organize your stories into folders, collections, we call them here on the left. It's a very simple interface. We also have the students page. So this is where you can invite your students. We have integrations with Google Classroom, Clever. So this enables you to import your classes in a few clicks. And why would you invite your students? Firstly, because it enables you to access their work at any time. It can happen that students forget to submit. That problem isn't here with this system. And you can also provide feedback. So you're made automatically an editor to their story, so you can provide comments. We also have an analytics feature. So this gives you various stats on how your students are using Sutori. You can see how they answer quiz questions, but also how much time they've spent interacting on projects. And of course, if you decide to upgrade, all the students included in your list will also be upgraded. If you don't use Google Classroom or Clever, you can also get your students to add you manually using teacher code. On your students page, you can filter them depending on the tag you have set up. If you've imported your students from Clever or Google Classroom, they will be assigned the tag that they have on Google, which allows for easy navigation. We also have the resources page. This is where you can find inspiration and templates. We've at the top of the page here, we have guiding packs on different subjects. We also have activities and graphic organizers. There are a whole selection of them to give you some more ideas of how to use Sutori, including one here, which was proving quite popular during the first lockdown on the quarantine life. We have some units. We used to create a lot of content for social studies. We no longer do that, but we still do create media literacy content. So if you scroll down, you'll find that. So feel free to use them all in your classroom. Everything here is free of access. So let's go to create a story. When I create, I have a selection of templates I can choose from. We've filtered them here by topic, English, math and science, and we also have some graphic organizers, as I mentioned before. Feel free to check them out, see if they suit what you need. But we're going to start with a blank. This is the Sutori interface. It's very easy to use. All you need to do is click and start typing in most cases. What you see is what you get. The edit and view modes, if you wish, are kind of merged into one. And everything you do on the Sutori, on the story, is automatically saved. So let's begin by, now that I have my title, I'm going to add a banner at the top. So I'm going to edit this. We have integrated with Unsplash, which provides you a vast collection of images which are free for you to use. And they're very high quality, so they're very good. So here I'm talking about fruit, so I'll add this one. I can move around, drag, zoom in. Just going to save it there. While this is loading up, I'm going to go down below and add a heading to my story. There it is. So bananas. And so this plus button here, as I hover my mouse over the line in the middle, we have a big range of items you can add. So I'm going to start with a simple text, show you how it works. So bananas are tasty, delicious, and I have one every day. Click away. As you can see, it saves. We have some text editing features here. Bold, italics, underline. You can change the size of the text. You can also align it left, right, center. Also a bulleted list and numbered lists. You can also change the color. Selection of colors here you can choose from. Expand the item or reduce it so it covers the whole width. And of course you can delete. Going to add a second item, which we have here. So did you know? So we like did you knows because they push you to another way to think differently about content. So in this case, in the bananas, I'm going to talk about something interesting that the reader may not know. Bananas are a valuable source of potassium. I mentioned earlier about embedding anything into Sutori. So here I'm going to embed a PDF, which I found online. So I'm going to add a link. This is the media uploader. It enables you to embed anything into Sutori. We have integrations here with Unsplash, as you saw. You can add a link to any resource here. So we have anything from Canva, Kahoot, Flipgrid, Quizlet, ThingLink, TED Talks, Bunsies, you name it. We also integrate with Google, so it's very easy to search here without going to an external window. And of course, Google Drive. So here I'm just going to add the PDF, a link which I found online on Bananas. Paste it. And there we have it, directly accessible within Sutori. So next I'm going to create a heading and name it Apples. And I'm going to add, noticed here on the left that the table of contents suddenly appears. As soon as you add 2 or more table of contents, this does. Allows for easier navigation from one to the next. And so I'm going to add here a quiz, show you how simple it is to create. So I'm going to name it, maybe find the odd one out. Apples. Apple, banana, peach. Oops, sorry. And maybe spinach. Select the correct answer. Click away, and there we have it. You can already test the quiz out. Spinach, correct, because it's not a fruit. I'm also going to embed a Google slide here. For all those of you that use regularly Google in your instruction, same thing, I'm just going to create a link item. Going to fetch the link, the URL, and paste it. And almost instantaneously, we have a Google slide embedded, which I can use directly within Sutori. Like any other item, I can expand it so it covers the whole bit. This icon here allows me to move items below or above another. So in this case, I'm going to put it above. If I want to move it higher up, I can do so too. The final item I want to show you is a forum. So forums are a really good way to engage your students in the learning. So it's a good idea, as we saw previously with the examples, to create prompts to get them engaged in the topic at hand. So here it would be forum, what is your favorite fruit and why? Interesting topic. Put this in large. And then the students are going to comment. Great. So at the beginning of this video, I was using a slide format. I was actually using Sutori's presentation mode. So this is really good for showcasing your presentations on a large screen in front of an audience, or even if you're doing a webinar presentation. We have here, when you click on this button, you can see the stats, the analytics, so you can see how long, for the moment, I've spent creating it, and once students answer questions, you can see how they answered them. You can save and export your presentation to a PDF format. You also have the copy feature. This is useful if you've set up a template assignment. You can move it from one collection to another or delete the story. If you click on share, you can share your presentations with anyone, whether they're on Sutori or not. You can input their email, for example, hotmail.com. Oops, sorry. And set different viewing or editing rights. If I only want them to not edit, but only comment, I'm going to put it here. Can view and comment. I can also share with a tag. Remember, tag set up on your students page. So here, world history, there are 3 students in that. And then they can also only view and comment. If I click on the share button here you have more sharing settings. So by default, every story created on Sutori is secret. This means that only you as the creator and those who have the link can access your story. You can also switch it to private or to public. Those with the link here down below, you can set, as you can do for individuals or for tags, as we saw earlier, you can set different editing rights or viewing rights and copy it and share it as you wish. You can share directly all presentations to Google Classroom, to Microsoft Teams, and if you make it public, as I will do now, you can share it to social media, but you can also access and embed codes. So if you use an external website, you can copy this code and embed it. So Sutori will be accessible on that external website. Okay, that wraps it up. This is Sutori. Feel free to play around with it, to try it out, to do an assignment with your students. Have fun, be creative, and please do not hesitate to reach out on our in-app chat or via email. You can email me at any time at jonathan@sutori.com. And thank you for watching.